This I wrote in Bulgaria some years ago. Why are there so many birds in Sofia? Early every morning they wake me up, sitting in the trees outside Hotel Bulgaria. People say they are refugees from Kosovo. The bombs made them fly like black clouds over the mountains to this sacred place. But how do we do to get them back? Birds don't listen to orders, nor do the poets. Like waves on the ocean sea, they choose their own ways. Still the question remains, how do we bring back the birds to the silent trees of Kosovo? Shall I take a last one? Where are the writers? This is from a writers' conference in Bulgaria, also by the Black Sea. Where are the writers? Paulo Moro from Portugal asks. My answer is in Baghdad, Fallujah, Tehran. There are our colleagues. But also here in Neptune by the Black Sea. But what do the writers do? They talk, they dream, they write. They try to break the silence that surrounds them. Like the sea, the fishes. Writers, wherever they live, are fishes in the same sea. So what do we do with the words? We try to keep us alive. We try not to forget always to be a pain in the ass of those who sit on us. Poetry is not, as we once were told, a thing of beauty. Poetry is a hard stone of reality. Poetry is not decoration. Poetry is detonation. Our task, to invade the minds of the invaders. With our words, build a new world, where Neptune is a suburb to Baghdad and Tehran, and where we all can meet next year in Jerusalem. But again, I must ask the same question as Paulo Moro. Where are the writers?
Or rather, Dr. Muhammad Ali Siddiqui, who is also a writer. Where is the writer in our midst? To come and speak about Mr. Peter Kurman and his art. Thank you.
Mr. Peter Kurman, Mr. Faratullah Baba, Dr. Alan Geer, and ladies and gentlemen. Peter Kurman may not be a known literary entity for most of us, but he is a very important Swedish poet whose concerns for the downtrodden peoples of the world are appreciated the world over. Born in 1941 in a country where Ibsen, Ingrid Bergman, and Alfred Nobel were born. Our world at the time of his birth was threatened by Nazism and fascism. It is but natural that his poetry ventilates feelings of a strong belief in peace and human values. His poetry has been hailed in Scandinavia as the poetry of massive upsurge of the battle cry of a war against exploitation and coercion of the suffering humanity. His poetry excels in images of a shipwrecked humanity facing the danger of sinking down under the strong waves of an angry ocean. His poetry looks askance for those spirits which symbolize salvage and rearguard action of rescue. It is the human will to combat forces of doom which he invokes in poems, which excel in immaculate imagery, impregnated with the thought that it is the belief in beauty and justice which could come to the rescue of beleaguered humanity. Needless to say that this is the content of poetry which appeals to us South Asians. Therefore, his poetry is akin to most of our own poets. And this is quite strange because he doesn't belong to the tradition of modern Western poetry being written in USA and in UK and France and other Western European nations. He sounds to me as an Asian, having content, having a style to describe that content. Because as Sartre had said, long before his death, that now issues are with Asian poets and techniques is with us. So he has the issues and the technique. So this is something quite strange. And it is really heartwarming that in Mr. Kurman, we have a poet who sounds very much like our own poets. Maybe I'm degrading him to the status of an underdeveloped country, but no, even the developed country can think of the suffering humanity and can also express themselves the way we would like them to express. It is the great Scandinavian tradition is steeped in the Vikings' adventurous spirit, and then their, I think, very, very earthly topics, because they lived on the seas. So when they settled down as a civilized people, they thought more of earth than of the seas. And therefore we have Ibsen, the man who is hailed the world over, and it seems to us to be a dramatist of our next door landscape, very much ours. So I think that Mr. Kurman is a poet who is going to delight all of us. And when we will be reading his Urdu and Punjabi versions, then you will agree with me that I'm not exaggerating. I want to praise him. It is something else that many Western poets will think that perhaps Mr. Kurman has been, what shall I say, made an Asian poet. No, he is a European poet, having his concerns rooted in the third world, and that makes his poetry very important for us. Peter Kurman is a poet of love, believing that the love in its quintessential spirit connects human being with the Mother Earth. It is humanity as a spiritual and intellectual principle which imparts a universal feeling and overrides all discrimination of color, creed, and race. Gentlemen, Quaid-e-Azam Award for Literature, instituted by the Academy of Letters, has put Pakistan on the map of the world of literature. Now, poets and writers all over the world would be looking at Pakistan not because of stories emanating from Swat and South Waziristan, but for its concern to serve world literature. No other Muslim country or no other country